Hey y'all, how's it going? This is a test to see if this setup actually works. You might look a bit fat right now because, I don't know, this camera is just not really set up properly, so you're looking down, right? Angles. Anyway, let's kind of go through this video today. There were 3 big tournaments for BCS that happened. One was Belgium, one was Malaysia, and then one was Vietnam as well. So quite a few to talk about. And let's kind of just see like what actually topped, right? A lot of results. So let's go. So first off, we have is Belgium standard. So we had 3 Mahan Havanas, but then 1 Gravidia, Flagberg, Prison, Orphis, and Youthberg made it through. And then to see the final results here, what actually won was the Orphis, right? The Orphis. So 1 Orphis there, all the way to the top, right? Yavar S. And then came Marco M with the Nirvana, Declan W with the Nirvana, and then a Martin M with the Flagberg, right? And let's just take a look at the Orphis. So here's the new Orphis list running the new set 6 support and just able to do something well. And it's basically like, I think it's gotten everything now. And you can run the PR, but it looks like Yavar's did not. So overall, very cool list. Orphis finally getting some love, right? And it's shown some pretty good results. And then next, we do have that Flagberg list as well. As we can see, the shelling cannon here is empty because the image hasn't been uploaded yet. What's interesting with this list is that it is running the Zorga Rhineland, which is actually normal. But in terms of the orders that is being run here, they're running Nectar instead of the new Revival order as well. So this one is just going a bit more aggressive, which is quite nice. And in V Premium, again, we see all the Gear Chronicles, and we have the 1 Spike Brother, Aquaforce, and Shadow Paladin. But then after that, we had the Shadow Paladin actually win. So we had Pierre M first place with Luard, then second, third, and fourth we had Louis B, Sudi L, and Hal S, Al Satchel, I think, all of Steam Maidens, right? All of Steam Maidens. It's just that good, right? It's just that good. And then with the list here, the Luard list is running the new Ildona build, also with the bats, right? The bats just to kind of pop off a bit. And otherwise, it's just kind of just your old Luard. You have to make space and like running less of the drag drivers. If you're a 4 drag driver guy, you have to become a 3, unless you can find space somewhere else. But then you see, you'll just look at the amount of space that is like kind of cut, right? You know, more Festa. The grade 2 lineups is like 7 before you can run like 8. So yeah, it gets a bit tight, right? It gets a bit tight. It just depends also how much of the painter you want to run. Do you want to like confirm that you always get the Ildona without needing the CBD one, just like naturally draw into? Yeah, there's little things that you can kind of go into, but again, space is very tight there. And then in the premium lineup, we have a whopping 6 Narukami take it into the top 8. And then we had 1 Kagura and 1 Great. I have no idea how the Great Age kind of made it through, because there's just so much. There are 7 decks. I mean, that just removal. They're just pure removal. That kind of is pretty annoying for Great Nature, I think. So yeah, quite crazy, right? Quite crazy. Anyway, what actually made it through was, unsurprisingly, a lot of Narukamis, right? So top 4 was just full Narukami. We had Victor Z with the sweep command, Vowing Reversement, Tamim N, and Kalen F, all pretty much running the same build. I kind of took a look at it. Most of it is the same. And then we got Remy F with just a more Vowing-centric build. It's pretty crazy. So let's kind of like look at it. This is pretty much the build that like the top 3 were running. So if top 3 are running, it has to be good, right? It is just pretty much an Eradicator build with the Vowing Reverse and the Sweep command. I know a lot of people have been like debating, do I run one or the other? How about I just run both? I just run both and see how it goes. What they did do is that it cut down on like some people running like Esmeralda to get like kind of the more multi-attacks, but you're basically now just relying full on Showo. Also interesting, they're running the stand trigger here as well. I can countercharge. It's a stand. It is less defense though, which can be a bit annoying. But yeah, that is the trade-off you kind of get. And then you look at here, you know, 2 stun verse, 3 exterminate, and that's just how it is, right? That's how it is. And then not the normal build, but the other build we have is it's a jump build. So this one is jump into a Descendant with a Vowing, not a Vowing reverse, which is quite interesting. Right? I feel like, you know, I think Vowing Reverse, why not just run that, right? But then you have like kind of the old like Blat Arrow Dragon, and you also have like, you know, the Gauntlet Buster as well. Just like the extra text kind of makes this deck a bit more different from the others. It feels more control-y if you think about it this way. The Stride lineup is really weird though, right? You have like only 1 Exterminate and only 2 Stun Verse. Like, Usually, I just feel like it should be one or the other, but then focusing on a lot of other things as well. You know, the Gilgal, you have the VMAX, even like I think it's like 4 voltage, right? This is 4 voltage. That's a lot of Draconic Vanquishers. So this one's a bit of a more different one, bit of a different Narukami. We have seen just different Narukami's got to actually do all right in this metagame. Like, we still have like things like Vanquisher as well, right? So that is pretty much it for Belgium. Moving on, we have Malaysia. Malaysia with the standard, we have the 3 Gravidia, then the 1 Flagger, Maha, Ava, Hero, and the Greedon. But what surprisingly what made it is first place got Yizat Yusof with the Greedon list. And then second place got Melvin Chow with Ava. Third is Anson Lowe with Gravidia. And then fourth was Muhammad Asfel with the Heroes. Actually, Heroes. So, kind of unexpected, to be honest. Let's kind of take a look at some of these lists. Greedon here as well. Greedon did get some support in Stat 6. Also got like a Hikos, right? Hikos should be out, but it is probably still very annoying to get. This one, I don't think runs Hikos. It is still running, you know, the new Eagle, but it doesn't look like there's a lot of... there's not a crazy amount of new support. Just kind of old Greedon does things, does well, and then just kind of pops off. So it works, right? So here we have the Ava list. This one looks like it's not running promos. It is running Neatness Meteor Shower. Now, there are times when Decklog does not have the new promos. This could be one of those times. So I would kind of just assume these are promos. Otherwise, there'd probably be no reason why you'd run this when there's just better decks. So yeah, if these are the promos, this is a pretty solid list. There's a reason why the promos are so sought after, right? It's just a really, really good list. Got the Penguins kind of search it out. But yeah. Good deck, does well, and yeah, I do hope they have the promos, right? And then in the hero list that also made it is pretty insane. The errata is an effect, so these are not heroes, these are B heroes. So this still somehow did well, made it to 4th place. We mainly saw it in Japan because of the diversity cut, but there was no diversity cut in Malaysia. So yeah, this one is actually top 4, came 4th. So. Congratulations, right? Moving on, we do have V Premium. Again, we see like the 5 Gear Chronicle list with the 2 Bermuda Triangle and the 1 Genesis. And then after that, what top was the 2 Steam Maidens, and then the Himiko, and then the Anj as well. So we do actually have the Anj, right? And the Anj one is kind of like a weird, like Anj tier list, but with the Relenkas, you know? And then you still have the Pearl Sisters to like the kind of Wombo combo. It's like 2 Clasena, like there's a bit of everything, you know, a bit of everything. No Matoa, which recently got released. Like with this reminds me of a Highlander list simply because like I look at this, is he running 1 Aqua? Wait, no, there's like 2 more Aqua here, but it's like 1 of each, right? It's like 1 of each. So yeah, Anj is one of those lists that can kind of do well because it can play aggressively into the Steam Maidens. So that's why like this is doing at least okay, right? But you have to play very, very aggressive with this list. And then next we do have is Premium. So Malaysia Premium, we had 2 Link Jerkers actually making it. Then 1 Narukami, 1 Bermuda Triangle, 1 Spike Brothers, Dimension Police, Great Nature, and Mega Colony as well. But then in the tops we had Neo Fatiri with the Vowing Verse build. We had Eden Shazley with the I think this is like Rising Nova. And third we had Gabriel with the I think this is Alk Highlander, is it? And then some with the Gravidia, the Mega Colony. So let's kind of look at this. So first off, we have pretty much like a pure Vowing list, like a reverse and the normal Vowing. Again, I feel like a lot of people just kind of take out the Vowings now. If it's not, like the only good one is reverse. But I guess, you know, some people want to confirm that they can get the Vowing restand fully off. So they opt to run like the full Vowing lineup. And then the rest of it is just pretty much, you know, just your good kind of Eradicators package. He's not running any Demolition Dragon, which is actually really crazy. Demolition Dragon is like pretty much one of the best cards in the entire deck. So not seeing this in this list is very, very surprising. Hoping actually just to go for more of these Dirty Birds, and then the Phoenix, and then the Galband, which you know, kind of negates Sentinels. So kind of a mix up there. You know, kind of a mix up, running 2 Exterminate and 3 Stunnerers. Yeah, all right, that's cool. I guess that's cool. And then next we have the Rising Greedon build. It looks like. So again, another Spike Brothers doing okay. Yeah, another Spike Brothers doing okay. You know, the new stride and all that. Very, very cool. Able to play a more aggressive game. And then next we have is just the Highlander list. So this one's actually a pretty pretty interesting Highlander list here. Only 2 reindeers being run. Otherwise, the rest of it is just like, it's a Highlander. It's like a one-off. Yeah, maybe it's a bit greedy, kind of going into only like 2 reindeers. And also only like 1 Aquas, I guess. I guess some people, you know, some players do run multiple of Aqua. Or is it only the Couture? Right, it's only the Couture. So yeah, pretty nice. And then lastly, we have that Mega Colony list, which is just actually just straight up Gravidia. A lot of people were wondering, where do I go with Mega Colony now that there is no more, what was that? It's not Roaming Prison Dragon. I forgot the name now. But there's no more of the Stoichea Persona ride anymore. Ruination, that's right, Ruination. So where do people go? I think people trying out, like, you know, we've seen Flagberg Mega Colony. This one is just going back to just the Gravidia Mega Colony, and then just going to your Super Gravidia to kind of just negate entire turns. So yeah, very cool. Then lastly, we had Vietnam. So Vietnam is actually quite a diverse meta. It's much more smaller. I think it's more smaller than the other places. This is actually a small regionals, but I do know some players that are there. And they're definitely very, very good players. So we have Vietnam Standard here. There is basically a one of everything. Gravidia, Prison, Kyrie, Thegria, Yo, Barrow Magnus, Zorga, and Greedon. And then here we have the first place was Nguyen Minh Hue. So Minh Hue is actually, he used to play in Australia and went back. Very, very strong Pale Moon player. And it looks like taking the Dark States, all right, Greedon to a first place finish. So again, this was a small regionals. The winners get, I think, a trip to Singapore to kind of play in the big one. So yeah, and I think Min went to Worlds before. I think went for V Worlds. So definitely not a slouch, right? Definitely a very strong player when it comes to Vanguard. Second was Nguyen Pham An with the Thegra list. Third was Human Quan with the Gravidia list, and then lastly was in 4th place at Derek Dow with Shaman King. And again, sorry if I butchered your name. I think probably Derek will also be making a video for this too. So if you want to hear a beautiful pronunciation, you can watch this. But with me, you might have to deal with the bad the bad pronunciations. So sorry about that in advance. Then we have the Minh Hue's Greedon list here as well. Again, no promos. Actually going Crimson Expeller for this. So just going for just like the old kind of restand play. Not even running the Eagles, it seems, which is quite surprising. Very, very surprising. Yeah. And then next we have is this Thegria list. Thegria just with the new Katawalas, some of the new Katawala. And then just looks like a bit of everything, you know. One of the how do you call it? The pentagonal sorceress, is it Pentagleam sorceress? A bit. It's quite interesting. But you know, got drilling angels kind of speed up the process. Falzos as well. A bit of like the small techs everywhere. And then we had Derek's Yo deck. So Derek kind of played this because I think he mentioned to me there was like a lot of Kyries. It looked like there were a lot of Kyries, but this one just kind of rushes everything down. So yeah, Yo definitely proving to be strong. This is not a slouchy collab deck. It's actually a very, very strong deck, and you know, you have to be very, very careful. You have to actually practice this matchup. All right. Next we have is the V Prem. We have 1 Gear Chronicle, Royals, Shadows, Genesis, Link, Joker, Aqua, Pale, and Mega Colony. So literally, Vietnam just has one of everything, right? And then here we have the Luai taking first place, Nguyen Vo Quoquiet. And then the second was Liv Antoine with the Thavis list. Third was Ho Tan Fat with the Genesis. And fourth was Tang Kui Bang with the Jewel Knight. And we take a quick look at these lists. This wide list is not actually running Ildona, which is very surprising to me. It looks like this going... I feel like Ildona just kind of adds more consistency to the deck. At the cost later on, you can like dead draw into more 3s. But I still think the advantages of it is way more important. So I'm actually very, very surprised that that they're not running it in this list, opting to go for like even 4 drag drive to go for like, I guess maximum how do you say it, consistency. Also running the 4 knees as well. No bats in this one too, which is fine. I think you don't always need bats. You can play super consistent, and I think this is going into the way more consistent territory, right? And then second we have is the Aquaforce Thavis list. This one is a very, very standard Aquaforce list, I think. You know, just go in, go hard, and just win, right? And then third we have is the Genesis list. So this Genesis list has been popping. I think I saw this in the leads as well. where you can kind of do some combat tricks with your Rastrum and then your Fenrir, and this kind of deny plays. It is kind of CB heavy though. I think all of it is CB2. Like it ends up being CB2 for that turn, so it is pretty CB heavy. But if you're able to shut down the entire turn, it's pretty good. And then lastly, you have that Jewel Knight list with the new, you know, the new Ashley, just really cracked. That's just how it is. Running actually one non-Jewel Knight though. Just for the grade 3 searcher, instead of just running like a normal Salome like a lot of people. So a pretty interesting take there. And then lastly, we have Premium. So this one is also a lot of wonders. So go 1 Pale Moon, Shadow Paladin, Bermuda, Genesis, Link, Joker, Echo Force, Murkuma, and Nova Grappler. I said that really fast, right? Just training my speed. And then in the first place, we finally have Derek Dow coming first, right? Playing the Highlander deck that he's just been playing for the entire season. So pretty cool. Like finally get a first place. I know he was really trying to grab that gold. And then in second place, you have My Ho Lin with the Regalia list. Third was Nguyen Trong Nan with the Pale Moon Nightmare Doll list. And then fourth was Nguyen Hoi An with the Thavis list as well. So let's kind of take over the Regalia list. The Regalia list is, I think it's pretty standard now, but running some Verastrums though, right? Running some Verastrums. So pretty cool. And then, yeah, just your good old Angelica build. Then next we have the Nightmare Doll. Nightmare Doll, still very strong, still doing quite well actually. When you look at a lot of the BCSs, it's still like randomly topping everywhere, and doing fine. Not like dominating mode though. So I think that's good, right? It's in a pretty good place. And then lastly, we have the Thavis list. So this one is running some interesting cards. We've got the Fort Vessel Dragon. Actually, not that crazy because I know a lot of Aquaforce players, they try to search for another grade 3. And this one is a nice one that has a come into play effect, right? And then running, it also synergizes well with like the Tidal Assaults. I know a lot of players are running like one extra of the old Nikki, just so you can like kind of extra strive folder. Also kind of reveal your Heal Guardian to search what you need to. So overall it makes it more consistent. This one also running fronts, like one front. So that's kind of scary, right? Like random front, 20k shield more like it. But yeah, I think just trying to find ways to kind of fit in the Sanctitude, because now you kind of have to split up your nulls. Like this one's only running, this one's only running 2 draw nulls, but then you need 1 sentinel crit, and then you have like this weird spot where you, what do you put in for your last trigger, and you know the front trigger is there, right? And then the G zone is quite normal. I think when you look at the Aquaforce G zone, if it's like at least two lines long with a lot of different choices, I think you're doing it right. But yeah, that is it for all the results this week. Lots of BCSs. Again, there's going to be more BCSs coming up. I think my one is like this weekend, and then another one is next weekend. So it's going to really be busy. I'll try to fit in these kind of things. I'm just kind of testing the layout and all that. Let me know what you guys think in the comments below, and I will see you all later. All right, bye.